Garang, thank you very much, and I would like to be very democratic. I'm going to throw it to the audience. During the first panel discussion that I moderated, they were complaining that they did not get chance to ask questions. So what I'm going to do is, I will come back to you. What I'm going to do is, I would like to throw it to the audience to ask the panel here questions on the remarks they have made. The topic is clear: how can the US help South Sudan? And so I would like, let us throw it back to the audience to ask questions. And I'm going to start by ladies first. Over there? Yes? Ladies first.
That's correct.
I don't need mic. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I was a high school English teacher for a long time. I have basically one question. I've been following the events. I've been listening to everything you have said. Been reading the news about South Sudan now for 6 years, thanks to this gentleman. And I have basically one question. Was there any investigation conducted about the events in July when Salva Kiir and Reath were meeting and shots were fired outside, and then the president said he had no clue as to who was doing it or why, there to be followed by over a week of Reath having to flee or hide in his camp? Was there a government investigation made, and if so, what were the results of that investigation? Because in the United States, if something like that had happened, right here in Washington, D.C., believe me, Congress would have been tied up with an investigation that took 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to this gentleman here, over there. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Behind you.
Thank you. My question goes to former Secretary Amum. You mentioned that the SPLM is dead among the series of other things that has died, as you mentioned. My question is, when did SPLA die? Did SPLM, when did SPLM die? Was it in 2013? Or was it when you were the secretary of it? And what have you done to serve it? You know, my second question goes to Ambassador.
You only have one question, please. I'm sorry. There are lots of people who are asking questions. Let's make it brief.
Yes, my clarification is going to be very brief. Salam, Excellency. I just came from Khartoum, and I am a member of the political bureau of IO. We just passed some resolutions, and they are available on the web. You can go at wordpress.com. Now, because of the situation, and because we believe that the agreement is not going anywhere, we have resolved to continue resistance in one way or another against the current regime. That is reality. And we are getting conflicting messages from the US government. Reath should not go to Juba, ostensibly so that he doesn't get killed at this time. And we have to continue with the status quo. Now that we have this reality of the agreement not going anywhere, what is it exactly that we should do so that we realize peace in South Sudan?
Thank you. And let's go to Bill here. I will take the last question from Bill and then give chance to the panelists to answer.
I don't have any problem. The point of the panel was, how can the U.S. help support South Sudan? Tomorrow I will go and speak with 3 senators and 2 congressmen. What I have heard thus far is other than position making, is the following, I think, and I want to know if there's anything else. One was implement the hybrid court. 2 was recover stolen assets. 3 was call for a roundtable discussion to address the fundamentals. And it's been clear that that several of you, probably the majority of you, no, it's divided as to whether or not I should say implement the ARSIS or the ARSIS is dead. So what do you want me to tell 3 senators and 2 congressmen tomorrow?
Thank you very much. And let's give chance to the panelists to answer these questions. I will start with you, Ambassador Garang. Was there an investigation after the July 7 incident at J1? This is a question that came from the audience. Was there an investigation?
Yes.
2 minutes. I will
yes.
give you 2 minutes.
Yes.
Let's be brief. It's working.
Yes, a committee was formed, headed by the former Minister of Interior, a membership of the IO and other parties and the government. So we need to maybe release that report. But yes, a committee was formed immediately. Yeah.
Reath, what do you know about this committee?
The committee was formed.
Can you speak to the mic, please?
The committee was formed, but I don't think they have done anything, because as the committee was formed, and Selfa himself was ordering the gunship and the Tang to go and attack the base of Dr. Machar. Where can you conduct the investigation?
Mr. Pagan, there was a question about SPLM, is it alive or dead? But please, do you have any idea about this committee, and then you could also speak on about the fate of SPLM?
Yes. The committee was formed. It did not do anything. Like all the committees which were formed, it did not do anything. The committee was formed when our citizens, particularly from the Nuer ethnic group in South Sudan, were targeted in 2013, and a committee was formed. The result of that committee has not been out. They said that some few soldiers were arrested, but all of them escaped. Nothing was there. All committees were being formed, and nothing happened. Now, on the question of when did the SPLM die? The SPLM died. First of all, it caught a disease from 2005, where President Kiir himself in 2005 said that the SPLM died with John Garang. And that was a debate. I was of the position that no, the SPLM did not die with John Garang. The SPLM need to be transformed into a political party that would be capable to provide a visionary leadership during peacetime. My position was not taken. We were literally excluded. We were being called John Garang orphans, and that is how we were referred as John Garang boys. Because we were identified as people being committed to the vision of the SPLM as articulated by John Garang. The death of the SPLM was slow, by the chairman himself obstructing and blocking any attempt to reorganize it. And this is what Dr. Luca referred to in the discussion before, that this is one of the causes of the conflict, the fact that the SPLM, the ruling party, was not there. And the chairman of the SPLM, who is the president and the leader of the process, was not ruling to implement the program or the agenda of SPLM. Rather, he was obstructing the organization.
Thank you, Pagan. Let's go to Governor Bakosoro. Governor, I would like to give you the opportunity to answer Bill's question. What would you like Bill to tell lawmakers tomorrow when he's going to meet them?
Yeah. We understood before that South Sudan and Sudan, they are combined together in US policy. I think since USA recognize the sovereignty of South Sudan, the policies should be separated. Because we are different countries with the different activities and the different policies. That is one of the contribution, I think. So that our case can be taken separately and addressed also separately. Thank you.
And how would you, I mean, could you be specific? Because he is going to make an ask tomorrow. Ambassador Emmanuel, I will still extend that to you. Bill is going to make an ask tomorrow with the lawmakers. What would you like him to tell the U.S. lawmakers?
Well, first of all, thanks, Bill, for your not question, but basically, trying to know what message you could take and relay to the policymakers. And you really put it in place, but the only addition that I would like to add is on the last one, because you said hybrid court, we are for it, and it has to be expedited, because the agreement talks that it should be done within the frame of first year of the agreement. But what we are saying is that it has to be done now, because that will discourage the impunity. The second issue is recovery of assets. I think U.S. government, with the government in the region, it's because these assets, I don't want to call them thieves, but the looters in South Sudan are not too smart. I don't want to be accused of insensitivity. So basically what is needed is a required effort by the U.S. government and the government in the region to try to either freeze the assets and recover the assets that have been stolen, and freeze the accounts of those who are suspected, and especially those who have been mentioned in the Century Report. Whether we agree or disagree with it, I think it is a good basis for fighting corruption in the country, and we the South Sudanese need to build on it. They have done their work. The other issue that I wanted to add on is the Constitutional Conference, or the Roundtable Conference for the opposition need to be called, so that the opposition should be called and be asked and be consulted as to what is the way forward. Because as Secretary General Amum has said, and I concur with him, the agreement is dead, and therefore we need to go back to the drawing board. So what's required is a constitutional conference for the opposition, need to be called by the U.S. Mr. Moderator, there's a question that Ambassador Garang directed to me as a clarification, and I feel it's very important to answer it because it deals with the lives of MPs.
Be precise and go ahead.
Yes. Ambassador, I think you're living in a wonderland. One thing that I would like to say is this. Vitolam resigned. I don't know if you have not read this. He has resigned as the Minister for Agriculture. He has resigned as the chairman of SPLM-IO, and now he has formed a new movement called National Democratic Movement in Khartoum, in Nairobi, and where he was, of course, he made a press statement in Nairobi on 22nd, where he declared the formation of the new movement. But to answer your question is this, or your clarification. The 4 MPs that are in the parliament, they do not represent LAM, they belong to a party called DC. They sat down the party called DC, which is the second largest party in the parliament with 4 members, as you put it correctly. They have elected a new chair that represents them. So Dr. Lam is no longer a DC. This is the point I would like to add. Because
thank you, Ambassador Emmanuel. I would like to go back to take more questions, and then we can continue with our discussion. I would like to give a chance to a young man over there. You know, we watched a clip here, and there was a young man. Yes? There was a clip here where a young man said the future is there. So please, it's your chance.
Now, I wanted to ask a question. Why is it that the focus continues to be on the government, the SPLM-IO, the peace agreement, and not the people of the nation who are suffering?
Can you repeat that again? I didn't hear you well.
Now, I was asking why the focus continues to be on the government, the SPLM-IO, the peace agreement, and not the people of the nation who are suffering.
Thank you. Thank you for being precise. Over there at the back, my friend who made a presentation about the Lost Boys. All right, go ahead, go ahead.
Why'd you move faster, man? Sorry.
Okay. For those whom I have not met, my name is David Dow from South Sudan. I'm going to take a second to speak to the issue of how can the U.S. help South Sudan. As somebody who was blessed with the opportunity to work for a member of Congress, part of my job is to sit down and listen to South Sudanese from the opposition, from the government, and from both sides. Let me say this. As an American, as somebody who is in the U.S. government, you, the South Sudanese, have confused the American people. You have confused the American government. And here is why I say that. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to arrange a meeting, a congressional meeting, with Vice President Wani and government delegations. I was in that meeting, I wrote a memo for my boss, and then after that, I also put another meeting where Reath Machar and Aban Dengai. What Reath Machar and Aban Dengai and his team said, and what the Vice President said, going on with the mic, and what the Vice President Wani said, when I bring all this together to write a memo for my boss, I was confused as a South Sudanese. So what I want to say is this. U.S. government has a position to stand with the people of South Sudan. And my advice to you is this. The solution is with the people of South Sudan. Because in that meeting, if both Reath Machar and his team, as well as Vice President Wani, were able to present a unified solution, I swear to God, that would have been the position of the U.S. government. So please, look at yourself before you look at the U.S. government and the U.S. people.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Let me come to Brian. Brian has been patiently waiting there. Brian, your question, be precise.
Sure. The working relationship between Salva Kiir and Reath Machar is not good. There's no lie about that. Given that issue, and looking at the big picture, to what extent is the SPLM-IO amenable to the idea of someone else other than Taban Den and other than Reath Machar to represent the IO in Juba to get the peace process moving? Looking at the big picture, peace and stability.
Thank you. Let me be democratic and coming from here. This is the last question we take so that we listen to the panelists and take more. I'm not ignoring you, I'll give you a chance.
I'll go with this one.
You're not coming to make a speech.
The reason I say I'm going to go with this one, since when we start dealing with this country we're talking about now, I'm the senior person here, except one person, Amum. You know, when we went to the bush in 1983, I was a young fellow. I was documented to 15 years old, but I would get argue with people that I'm 11 years old. But they say the people who are trading out, they're not going to accept you. So I end up to be 15 years old at that time. I'm going to start with you. Dr. John, I used to say this.
I hope you're not making this.
No, I'm not going to make it. I'll make it short. I'll make it short. Dr. John, I used to say this. It's good sometimes to go back than to go forward. So we should look at our history. My question is this. The most of people who are background doctors, when the patient says, I have the pain in my brain, you don't start on the feet. You start on where the pain coming from. The problem we have today is start with our leaders. Why you don't start a peace with our leaders than to start with a lower level? That's my question I can take to you. Another comment I can take a little bit. There's a guy named, he's an American guy, he's called Abraham Maslow's. Most Americans, they love it. He can tell you what the country means. So if you look on background of that guy, he wrote a lot of books. That's why they can do like that. The problem we get today, it was a 4 group. Number 1, it was Salva Kiir's group. Number 2, it was Reath Machar group. Number 3, Amum. Number 4 was James Waniga. Those group, look up James One, it was a group of Salva Kiir. Even Tawan guy was a group of Salva Kiir. Like where the Tawan Pagan put it. So we should focus about those groups. Can I add a little bit about that?
I'm afraid I don't. There is no democracy with time management.
Okay, 50 seconds. I'm going to make it short. If we are talking for the fees, we need to stop to blame ourselves this time.
Thank you very much.
What happened is what happened.
Thank you,
we
my
need to
friend.
stop showing the picture. It's all happened. It's going to bring the war back. Whenever you go to the war, you winning or losing, no winning. And no happiness. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's come back to our panelists here. And Ambassador, I would like to give you this opportunity. You were telling me you have a question for Pagan, but I would like you to combine that question with answering a question from the young man who said, why is the focus on IG and IO, not the people, when we're seeking peace? Why is the focus on these two?
Yeah, the answer is simple. Is that the focus is on IO and the government, because these are the major forces that are fighting using guns in South Sudan. Other civilians, some of them might be victims of this violence, but this is the reality that you cannot exclude IO and government from any political process. But we acknowledge that the citizens have to be heard.
But I guess his question is in the context of helping the people. Why are people focusing only on the two, not the people who are suffering? I guess that's where he's coming from.
Yeah, the people are being helped. The government is helping.
How?
People are suffering.
Where?
How?
The government is helping, is paying salaries, the government is helping. He's giving relief, the government is helping, is providing security.
Let us listen to Ambassador. Please, let us give chance.
Now this is the step.
Please.
My question to Comrade Pagan. Comrade Pagan is saying that the peace is dead. But my question almost the same as the question that I posed to the Ambassador Aban. That is, he is a leader of IO, or I mean not IO, sorry, former detainees or the G10. But the G10 are still represented in the government, in the person of Honorable Diing as Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Honorable John Luke as Minister of Transport. We have not heard from him or from these groups that they have parted ways. It is something that the people of South Sudan would like to know from you, Comrade Pagan, that have you parted ways with those who are in the government and you yourself? I just want to go to just one thing. Yeah. Honorable Woodward, nice seeing you again. You are a member of parliament, you were, and I was member of parliament, and we had a very working relationship with you. I'm very, very upset that you said that you want to continue with the violence. This is something that we deplore. And Taban Dengai is now the leader of IO. He was elected in Juba by the IO leaders who were the, I don't have anything to decide about that. Mr. Bill, we have come to participate in this conference, and all the views in this conference have to be taken forward if we are going to meet the members of Congress. Our view as the government, and you should note it down, is that also in the conference, the government was there. The government says that the only solution we have now is the implementation of the peace agreement. And the Congress has to continue to support people of South Sudan to implement the peace agreement.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Mr. Pagan, you talk about the killings. The killings happen all the tribes in South Sudan. You remember when Riek Machar fought in Malakal? How many Shuruks were killed in Malakal? You don't mention that Shuruk were killed in Malakal. Yeah, you think that how many Dinkas were killed in Bor? How many other tribes were killed in Bentiu? So your tribes also were killed. If you say that we were killed, your tribes were killed. And you are not advocating for justice for your people. If you say that the SPLM has been sick and died,
Ambassador, I'm sorry, I need to intervene here.
Since 2005, you were Secretary General of the SPLM, and you didn't resign. If the SPLM was sick, you were the leader up to the last moment. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. And Reath, I would like to give you an opportunity to answer Brian Adeba's question, saying now that IO is not, some of the IO members are not, the majority are not in favor of Taban Dengai. Is there any alternative? Do you have somebody better than Taban Dengai to work with President Kiir?
Let me clarify, there is no IO with Taban. Taban is a part of the government, and if you agree with me, the only people who are advocating for Taban now are the government, including the ambassador. If there are people who are supporting Taban from IO, they should speak by themselves and should be IO. It should be not IO government. Thank you very much. And for Ryan, this is a very good question. Let me be honest. It is not about Riek Machar and Salva Kiir not working together. Because the problem is on the peace agreement. The peace agreement comes with reform, comes with accountability, and the government does not like the idea of reform. They don't like the hybrid court. So the problem is the tribal domination, which is the Young Council of Elders, that sees the threat of implementing the peace agreement, have a problem. Another person will come tomorrow at the SPLM-IO. If they continue to say that this peace agreement will be implemented and the Young Council of Elders is still in South Sudan, they will also say he's bad like Riek Machar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving forward, Amum, there's a point made by David that the House in South Sudan is divided. There's confusion. Leaders are confused, and they've confused the American people even more. Now, what is your reaction to that? And given the last gentleman who spoke here was talking about the same thing, could you tell us what is going on? And be brief, please.
Thank you. Actually, I will answer this in answering the question by Brian. Looking at the bigger picture, this is not about failure of Kiir and Riek Machar not working together to implement the agreement. What you said is also true, but that is not the only issue. It is actually, looking at the bigger picture, it is a failure of the entire political elite and the gun class failing our people to deliver on the promises that we made during the struggle, failing to begin the building of our new state and begin the building of our new nation. Therefore, what is the way forward? The way forward would not be a question to be addressed to IO. It should be to the entire political elite. I think it is time that President Salva Kiir, Riek Machar, Lama Kol, Amum, Martin Elia, and all the other leaders of the political parties in the country, for us to step down and aside. This is the solution looking at the bigger picture. Because now these political organizations, supported by their armies or without their armies, have failed to bring peace. What can we do? We can do one thing. Let us stop going to war, because what Ambassador said is true. That if it is opting to go to war, it will be war continuously and perpetually, but it will be more disastrous, more brutal. There will be more massacres. More massacres. And South Sudan will collapse into disorder, into chaos, and will disintegrate. It will not be one country. It will be worse than Yugoslavia. Therefore, what can we do is let us go to a roundtable conference. Sit together to agree on the fundamental issues of how do we live together as one country, how do we govern ourselves, if we are to be one country, do we respect each other or not? If we do not agree, then the country will disintegrate.
All right, let's end it on that note.
But there are questions that you posed to me from him and also...
yeah, could you make it brief? Because time is not on our side.
Good. On the Shuluk, the people that I come from, that they were killed in Malakal, absolutely this is true. It was a big massacre, and the IO is responsible for it. Yes, also, the IO is responsible for the killings of Dinka in Akobo, immediately after the killing in Juba. But I was just mentioning to you the beginning of this problem. It started in Juba, and the Nuers were killed in Juba. And what happened in Akobo, in Bor, was basically a revenge and an action of anger.